Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Richard Ashworth. I'm 70 this year. I used to be a caregiver 2 years ago. So you're talking about 12 years ago. I didn't realize that my father was suffering from dementia. When we traveled to going to his office, and halfway he lost his way. He just don't know how to go to the office. And I thought it's very strange. And then later on part is like, his character, his attitude all changed quite badly. And he always like to fight with me, you know, not the normal self of him. And then I started realizing something is wrong. Then I was lucky that my neighbor actually told me that, Richard, I think your father is suffering from dementia. You better go and have some kind of arrangement, let him have a test, carry out, whether he's suffering from dementia or not. But actually confirmed after we sent him to the hospital and checked, he suffered from dementia. And my caregiver journey from there. On a daily basis, you can actually facing a lot of different kind of issue that you are facing. For example, you know, suddenly he start throwing his temper, and then he start scolding, and then he start throwing things around or start asking questions that, you know, almost you just don't know how to answer him. Like for example, at the middle of the night, he will tell you that, you know, Richard, there's someone at the door. Please go and open up the door and see who is there outside the door. Please answer the door. Or sometimes you say, someone is in front of me. Who are they? So actually, there's nothing there. But in the beginning itself, you know, you're just like, you're so frustrated. Why you treat me this way, you know? Actually, there's nothing. But of course, again, as and when you start to realize that, you know, his behavior is like, he got a lot of imagination. So you have to play along with him. Like for example, oh yeah, I'll go and open the door. Then we just open the door and close the door to let him hear the door opening and closing, and you come back to him and say, oh, our neighbor, Mr. Tan, he want to borrow something. And that's all the problem. So every time you have to create some story to tell the white lies. So I don't think I should feel guilty about it, but I got no choice. But again, it can be 3 or 4 times a night. It can be every hours. So your sleep hours, it can be disturbed every night, you know. And it's not like you can have a one night peaceful sleep until the next morning. Well, you have to depend on yourself. For example, I pay more attention to my father. So during the period of giving care to him, in fact, actually, I give up a lot of things that I like. For example, volunteer. For example, gardening. For example, like to do something that I like, or even do sculpture. It's my hobby, and you just like try to pay full attention to him, because you never know any minutes his mood change or his mood swing, it becomes somebody else. So you have to be there 24/7, and then of course a lot of things that you got to give up. Just like you have to bear with it. I mean, depends in the person. Are you willing to sacrifice or not? Mentally, to be quite honest, mentally is very, very stressed out, very, very disturbing, and at times you just don't know how to handle it, you know. And then sometimes you just ask yourself, like, should I give up? But sometimes you ask yourself, but the moment you give up, who is going to take over? You see, and then of course, the medical side of it, there is a lot of issue. Bring him to the hospital for appointment, and the way he behave in the hospital during appointment, sometimes waiting too long, we start screaming and shouting, and then all these circumstances we got to face is quite tough at time. You see, as everybody know, to handle this dementia patient, it's not just like handle the normal person. If the mood change, you can just screaming and shouting in the clinic. I don't know how you're going to say you can do better. I think for myself, I think I haven't done my best really. Then what kind of best that I can do further, I get really no idea. You see, again, on a daily basis, to handle dementia patient itself, like I said earlier, as mentioned earlier on, his mood swing, his mood change, and at times how to handle him, how to calm him down. And then again, it's like your experiences to how to handle him in a daily basis. For example, you will take shower for him, he may just swing his arm and then I want to hit you and all this and that. How to calm him down. All these are the daily experiences. In the first place, you might know how to handle him. But at the end of the day, today you learn something. And tomorrow you might learn something again. So every day there's a new thing to learn, to handle him. And to be honest, it can be thousand changes. Really, you cannot fix. Today I know he's going to change his mood. What he's going to tell you off or something like that. It's not fixed. Every day they got pattern one. So it's very, very difficult to handle. As I say, as a caregiver itself, you have to be very patient to understand what he needs. And in the end of the day, you have to be telling white lies all the time, to make up story. That's something which I don't not really like to do it. You see, but you got no choice. Yeah, to face the facts that you have to tell white lies to him. Again, I think it depends on individual, how much effort you want to put it in. I mean, my experience is every time I go to hospital, neuroscience about my father dementia issue, what they do is the doctor always advise me that, say, Richard, I know you're so stressed out. I know the doctor is care about me as well. Well, my father is fixed case already. He's there, right? But how to take care of me? So the doctor has always advised me that, Richard, why not you send your father to the nursing home? Then I got more stressful than when the doctor asked me this question. Because those days I actually engaged 2 male helpers from Myanmar to actually taking care of my father. Plus myself is 3. So my 2 helpers is very big size. Well, my father is 1.8 meter tall. And he's a very huge man, you see. So by 2 helpers that I engaged, the male helper that I engaged, plus myself is 3. As far as I'm concerned, my father is very well taken care at home, rather to send him to nursing home. Just for example, like every morning I will probably go there to visit him on a daily basis, probably spend 6-7 hours there, which I think I will be wasting a lot of time in the nursing home itself. And also, I think as everybody knows, one nurse in the nursing home probably taking care of 5 or probably 10 patients. See, for my home, 3 of us taking care of 1 patient. So he was very well taken care of. I feel more comfortable for him to stay at home rather than to the nursing home. My advice to those that start in the journey. Good question. If you ask me, as my past experience, I can only advise those caregivers. I think they have to have 3 hearts. Like Chinese saying, 有3个心. 第一就是爱心. You must have a love to care for your loved one. That's very important. Okay. Secondly, is a sing, confidence. You always tell yourself, I'm going to make it, and I'm sure I can make it. Okay. The third one is nicing, means patient, because you need a lot of patience. Every day, you got to face him. He might scold you. He might hit you. Because my father is a very violent dementia patient. He even hit me until my toe is gone. So you have to be patient. So that these 3 hearts is very, very important for the. And this is my advice to the caregiver, really, something very important. You ask me this question, yes, very tough journey, very, very tough journey. I even had attempt of suicide and all this, very, very tough journey. But in the end of the day, after my father passed on, I felt that it's a very meaningful journey that I've gone through with my father. That whatever I can do and whatever I can give it to him. And then it was a very meaningful journey that I have. And I still remember my father told me, even though he got dementia issue, he always wanted me to promise him, if I pass on, Richard, please continue your caregiver journey. Go out there and help those people who need help. So can you imagine the person who suffered from dementia before he passed on? He just want me to promise him his mission, what he want me to do. So that's why I'm continuing to do this caregiver journey to others. I think with my caregiver journey that I have or experience I have, I hope I can help other caregivers as well. Let them to be a better person as a caregiver or any other helps that I can give in to them. I think that's very important.